Press, here we go. Hey, everybody, what's up? You are here with Triple D, Dezzie and Dean. It's Thursday, and you know what that means. It is time for us to review this week's episode of AEW Dynamite. So we are here talking about the May 27th edition, or the edition episode of AEW Dynamite. Dean, how are you doing today, brother?
I'm all graded, bro. How are you?
Oh, man, it's doing good. You know, it's a beautiful Thursday morning. The sun never sets over here now, so it's always summer, right? Always summer.
Yeah, sunshine in here. Good. Nice
Beautiful.
day.
Beautiful. I love how we're at different sides of the world here. You know, it's morning for me, it's evening for you, and here we are enjoying the same stuff. So this week started off, of course, Inner Circle opening, and these guys are just established comedy as far as I'm concerned. Chris Jericho, he's untouchable on the microphone, so whenever you see him, you know it's going to be a good hot start. They did a good one in the limo last week. They got this one here, and obviously they've got too many T-shirts, and that's the story they're trying to push here. They were really ready for that win, and I love that just going home because you see it all the time in sports, right? Every sports team for the playoffs, they always have the championship shirts ready to go. But what happens when you don't win, right? And that's what we're seeing. That was a good opening for me. Good way to start the show.
Yeah, I liked Ortiz still selling the fact that the bell's ringing in his head. Like when they're talking to him, he's shouting back, what? You know, like when you talk to someone who's got headphones on, still can't hear. But yeah, good fun opening at the show. I liked that. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. So then, of course, we get right into this. And Matt Hardy now. What I loved about this now, we got Matt Hardy and the Young Bucks versus Private Party and Joey Janela. And we saw a bit of this at Double or Nothing where Matt kind of went through the transformations. And they start off the program and they're telling him, like, yo, we need you to we need a different version of Matt here. We want a different version of Matt. And so he comes back with like a couple of different versions of himself. And I'm wondering, like, is that copyright by WWE? Do they own that, like, the tights and design? But obviously not if he's using them. And of course, he's well versed in trademark law by now, obviously. But yeah, super awesome to see different versions of Matt. I thought it was amazing. The match overall, like there's some really nice spots on the floor. Obviously, like, to do the play-by-play would be pretty intense in a match like this. But I just love the spots that go to the floor. Matt Hardy pulling out all the stops here. He hits both members of Private Party with this massive moonsault, which you could kind of see him gearing up for in the top turn.
That as well. It went on all three of them, yeah.
That's right. So he's hitting them all. So
that's really nice. Moonsault. That's what's good about these different versions of Matt. Is like there's one for everybody, and he's wrestling different in the different personas. Yeah. So I really enjoy that about him myself because we've got a friend Lisa who like really doesn't understand the broken side of things. So it's good that there's a version for everyone almost. And like I say, it's not just the way he dresses and the way it's like the full presentation, even the way he wrestles, which is really good.
I think they must have picked up on that because they're very aware of their audience. And I think they picked up on right away that we can't have Broken Matt every week. We can't have Damascus out here every single week. So the fact that they're doing this just shows how flexible he is. And like you said, that's so subtle that he is wrestling differently like this, right? So he's actually, you could see that. I love that spot. He's like, and then he just goes for that massive moonsault because he knows this is big, right? It's a big time for him. And again, really nice coordination there. There were some 2-on-1 spots. The double dive, man, that double dive where Mark Quinn looked like he injured himself there. That was a tricky one. You know what I mean? It's a lot of coordination when you're doing those kind of dives. So the big ups to those guys for that. Super entertaining, but it's high risk, high reward, right? So there we go. We got to see more bang for the win. The pin by Matt Hardy. So again, you got to do the pin here, buddy. You're the legal guy here. Again, good spots. It's good to see Matt in so many forms here, and it's such in fine form myself, honestly. What do you think about the match?
Well, during the match also, we had the bit where Nick Jackson went to super kick Joey Janela, who ducked, and then he hit the blade. The blade, I believe. Yeah. And then so they had a little brawl in with the Butcher and the Blade. And I thought, is that maybe setting up the next feud for the Bucks? Yeah. Obviously, that came in, and then after the match, we had, like you were about Quen being possibly injured. That was sold a bit to me because Matt Hardy carried him out, didn't he, after the match?
Yeah, Matt was right up with him.
Maybe he's injured, but maybe that was just a really clever way to get him because they needed him all out the ring for the next next angle. So we obviously then after the match we had Butcher and Blade attack the Young Bucks. Yeah, and then we had a big debut. That we've
big tag team debut.
FTR, or formerly the Revival, as we'll say, come out, and it looked like they were going to avoided Butcher and Blade straight away. They got in the face of the Young Bucks, so I thought, all right, okay, maybe that's the feud. But then obviously they turned around, attacked Butcher and Blade, and again did the face off with the Bucks. as if it was going to split off. And Young Bucks were ready, but then they left. So I don't know if it more just like making a statement just to say, not necessarily heels, not necessarily faces, but we're just here. Yeah. We're here, So that was good. But yeah, the match itself, they're all great guys, aren't they? All 6 of them. It's all fun, high energy, loads of great spots. Exactly what you'd expect from him. And like I say, a little bit of confusion at the end with Matt Hardy. Didn't realise he was the main, with the guy in the match who had to make the pin. That looks a bit confusing. But overall, great fun match and great angle afterwards and a good debut.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So right after that, of course, we saw the champion, the man, Jon Moxley, comes out to the ring because he wanted front and center for this next one here. The very impressive Brian Cage versus Lee Johnson here. Man, oh my gosh. This match was what it was, of course. But what I think is super crazy is the fact that Cage uses that Steiner driver, or the drill claw, as they're calling it. Oh my gosh, man. It's just like, and so that move to me is always like danger, right? It really is. It just looks like it's so dangerous. But I mean, hey, if they're doing it, there must be a safe way they're doing it, but I'm not seeing it. You know what I mean? Like, there's just seems like there's so much room for error. But again, so afterwards, Cage and Mox had a bit of a face-off. They build up to their title match, obviously, with Cage holding the chip. He gets a title shot against Moxley. And I don't know, that's going to be a big one. What I like, though, is I don't see them taking the title off Moxley. I see them building him up as this guy who's fighting all these credible opponents, but still finding ways to make them look strong. So I'm hoping that Moxley comes out of this with his championship. But at the same time, Brian Cage taking the AEW title for a ride isn't a bad idea either.
Yeah, when it comes to regards to the match, my notes were really simple. It just says Cage destroys Johnson because it were very short. And like, even though it was short, I imagine Lee Johnson is incredibly sore today. He got bullied. That released German when he launched him nearly out of the other side of the ring. The guy's insane, Brian Cage. His muscles have muscles. The guy's huge. And he's like, the way he's come in, he seems really credible, but he looks credible as well. Yeah. So it's a good to walk in straight into a feud with a champion. And like you say, it's not as cut and shut. They should have a really good feud, a really good match. And I like that they're already just on a pay-per-view and they're already building for the next one. Just this segment that they're built. So it's good. They've got an idea of what they're doing, and it's fantastic. Going for it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. So then from there, of course, we had, we were told that Dr. Britt Baker would be coming out for her tips on being a role model, right? Or how to be a role model, a ROLL model. And so she came out. This was honestly, to me, I found this segment was kind of weak. It was kind of drawn out, especially with no crowd there. Maybe it would have been better if she could have reacted to something more than just what was there. She proclaims that she will be back at All Out, which again, it overwhelmed me. It was just underwhelming to me, the whole bit of it there. I don't know if I like Dr. Britt Baker. I like what she was trying to go for there. I think it could have been a little bit tighter. I don't know if it was just bad, but she definitely needs to come out and say something. The fact that they've got her coming back out for All Out in September, that's a few months away, so it gives her some time to heal. But yeah, other than that, I was kind of like, all right, I could have gone to the washroom, I guess.
See, I disagree because I love this. I absolutely love this. I think it's fantastic. Like normally when a wrestler's injured, that's it. They just disappear. So I like how this. I think Britt Baker's character work's been fantastic lately, and this were a great way. Like, don't matter that she's injured, to keep pushing it. And I really like the fact that she's like conspirator, get the next up, and like even Ref Aubrey, she had all like the police button board, with all these at Aubrey. Like, she's always involved, and even when she wasn't involved, but she was probably somewhere. So I really like this. I think it was a good way to keep heel heat on Britt Baker, even though she's going to be out, which she said All Out, which is what, September, so, which is better than what some of the reports we initially heard. But I really like this. So I hope she can keep coming out because it keeps her relevant and keeps, so it's like say not just disappearing off the scene. So I actually really enjoyed this, and I liked it, and I liked how it said roll with the double L. On
I like that roll model.
That was nice touch. But I really enjoyed this.
That's funny. That's good because we're gonna have those moments where it's like A and you're gonna say B, and it's like, well, here we go. That's what it is. All right. So then we had after that we had the new champion, Hikari Shiina.
Just 1 second. Just before that, we had Inner Circle being interviewed, and before the interview got started, we had Orange Cassidy walk through a bit what Chris thought were disrespectfully. And that cut the interview short, obviously, which then played into all of it. But I thought it's worth mentioning because it plays into the Battle Royale later on.
I missed that line in my notes. I actually said that. Inner Circle backstage. But this speaks to that last segment I was talking about that I just thought was weak from Britt Baker. Inner Circle backstage, and it just shows such a juxtaposition, a shift in the talent, because you've got and essentially, like, I listen to a lot of Jim Cornette. Okay, I listen to a lot of Jim Cornette, and I listen to a lot of people who are very objective about AEW, and a lot of things they say to me are valid in that this is an indie show on a very big stage. A lot of these stars are indie stars, and they were even until they got signed by AEW. So we're seeing a lot of stuff that we would see on the indies, but now it's on this big stage for like this national TV stage. So we're sort of seeing these people grow a bit. And this is me again. We obviously disagreed on that because you're very fond of Britt Baker's what she did there. I thought it was a bit weak. So for her to stop that and then go right into Chris Jericho is just like, whoof. Really shows you that there is a big shift, a big difference in the balance here on the card, in that we have these new people with these very established workers. So I thought that was just something, that was a note I made there that I kind of passed over. But yeah, Inner Circle again, like I said, I'm a big fan.
How can you not love them? They're awesome. Chris Jericho's a hero, superstar.
So that did bring us into, like I said, Shiina's first title defense, not a title defense, but her first appearance after winning the title. And she wrestled Christie James. Did you know Christie James before this match? Because I sure didn't.
I didn't. And what I liked is, like, we're on about this when they do, say, squash matches, for lack of a better term. Yeah. That they let the other person get offensive moves in, so at least show something. Whereas this was a bit of a different spin. It were more about, they gave Christie time to get character work over.
Yeah.
Like, overconfident, annoying, dancing, trying to get the dance off going, using that as a distraction. So even though it was a short and what were ultimately a squash match, there's no doubt that Shiina's winning. It was nice in that short time for Christie James to get some character over. So like you say, I'd never heard of her, but I feel like I've got a little glimpse of a character. Like there's something to already work with. I could sort of describe what a character is, very basically. But yeah, so I did enjoy that. But what you expect, Shiina eventually put her away. Yeah. And I preferred Shiina to go probably straight into an actual feud. Personally, I'd have preferred, but that maybe would have been Britt Baker, and so they haven't really don't know what's next. Right. But yeah, so Statlander, I think her and Statlander should have the next feud.
Hopefully so. Yeah, hopefully so. And then we saw Hangman, we saw Kenny, and at first I was like, oh, cool, they're doing like a little bit of a bit with like silence in the hotel room, like sort of like a what did they call that secret WWE TV back then, right? That sort of.
I had no audio. Were there no audio for your feed as well?
And so that was it too. Yeah. So they didn't. So they started talking, but there was no sound, and I'm like, oh. And they kept talking, and I'm like, oh no, is there supposed to? And then it's very obvious. Very obvious supposed to be sound. So that's why Hangman and Kenny get no sound. Couldn't hear what they were saying. Production hiccup. So they showed the spotlight for a second. They recapped Archer versus Cody, which is of course leading us into our next segment here, the Cody segment. Which, again, I wish I could say more about this. I wish I could say good things about Cody because I really like him. Like I said, I met him on the cruise. He's so well put together. He's done so much with himself since leaving WWE. It's amazing. It's nothing short of amazing. But there's just something to me that rings so petty with this. Like his theme song is still wrestling has more than one royal family. Yes. Okay. Are you talking about the McMahons? Do you mean the Von Erichs? Are you saying the Rhodes are up there with like the Harts and everybody? Or is this specifically towards the McMahons? Because it feels like it's towards the McMahons, right? So there was that, his entrance music, and he announces that he's going to defend the title every week, which is great because it's the TNT Championship. I think that's an awesome way to get prestige very quickly. So we'll see if that works, if he can hang on to the title, and whoever takes it from him, if they'll hold that up as well. Because I think that'd be a nice caveat is that if you win it, you have to defend it every week. I think that'd be an awesome stipulation for it being the television title, as it were. But what did you think of Cody's segment?
Yeah, there were bits I liked. Like we're doing the Tom Brady comparison, one because Tom Brady, what we're like a 4th or 5th draft pick to then go on to be something great. So there were comparisons there, but it was like, yeah, I've worked hard everywhere to get where I am, but still we can't ignore that. Yeah, but you still have the family to get you where you are, and the thing, like obviously it's more a case of WWE not ever giving you the chance, and now you've got it. But like you say, I think a bit he just needs to let it go now. Because now you have made yourself a star, and you are, and it's like when we were saying Tony Khan, he want the first or the second, or Yeah, but you were the third or fourth, so don't worry about it. You're obviously on the plan. You're on the same sheet, whether they ring first, if I ring Kenny first, Hangman, or whatever, you're all on the same sheet. You are as part of that same unit.
Exactly.
So he needs to stop trying to be the everyman, because it's like, we understand that, but he's not the everyman now. They have got, positions within the company that are high up. Not that they don't deserve them, and not that they don't book themselves, in the proper way. But so I think we need to let that go. But I did like the fact that I say he'll be a fighting champion, and that it'll be defended every week, which is good because, like you say, it's a TNT championship. The Dynamite's on TNT, so that should be on every week.
Yeah.
So you should see this belt every week. And so, like I say, ideally defended most weeks, unless you've got a really good storyline going into it that needs dragging out. But still, so I did like that. If that's what we get like a title fight each week. If that's what will come out of this, then overall it'll do for a segment for me. What I did notice as well on the outside, did you see Ali not in her bunny persona?
Right.
Flirting with QT Marshall. And at first I thought, that's thing, but they cut back to it in the match. Yeah. As well. So I don't know if that's maybe a feud that could be Dustin and QT, because they're a tag team, aren't they, versus Butcher and Blade. I don't know. I don't know what it meant, but it was still something interesting to think about on side, Yeah.
I see a lot of people picking up on it. Man, your phone is just like beeping hard here. Hey, it's still just buzzing away. A lot of people are like, it's all good. You're a busy man. I get it. We're bothering you at a very peak time in your day here. So thank you for taking that time out for us, Dean. But no, I get it. A lot of people are talking about that because they said, hey, they built up Allie to be the bunny, and now she's doing this other thing. So, I mean, it got people talking. Hopefully they do something with it here, right?
Well, it didn't necessarily say they were separate, because the Butcher and the Blade, obviously, they've been dressing in white for the last few weeks. They look like completely different characters as well. Yeah. So I suppose maybe they're just in the audience. They're just in a casual attire, like, would you have bunny ears on all the time? So I don't know if it necessarily means she ain't bunny or it's separate from that. Yeah. But I think it's probably something to still do with them and try to create a feud, a little tiny way to create a feud, kick plate spinning and such.
Oh, for sure. So then we had coming up here with big title implications here, with a title tag team title shot on the line. We had Kip Sabian teaming up with Jimmy Havoc, which we've seen recently, versus SCU, one of the most established tag teams on the roster, in this contendership match here, which I thought I remember watching this. I remember looking at it on the card saying, okay, SCU is going to get their next title shot here, and maybe take the belts off the Elite. But then I looked at, and I was watching Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc together in this match, and I'm thinking, man, they are really working well together. They're actually showing a lot of tag team movements, a lot of mannerisms that you'd see in a really good tag team. This isn't just one of those, hey, we got two random guys, two low guys on the roster, slap them together, make a team, and let's put them in the tag team division. They're actually coming together as even though they have different styles, they're really playing off each other so well. It was a super physical match. I know that's a really cliche thing to say in wrestling, but it was very physical. Jimmy Havoc's offense, man, his eye rakes, those gouges, like, honestly, this guy he's got a lot of that old school. They talked about that British style that he's got, that was Jim Ross says, that catch as catch can sort of thing. But man, in this match, like, honestly, I loved it. I thought, what a fucking upset, honestly. Like, that got me so good when Sabian and Havoc ended up beating SCU for this. Like, that finish was great. I thought the go home sequence was awesome. I think it's well deserved for these guys to get a rub here. Obviously, I don't see them winning the tag team titles. But I see them definitely just giving them credibility, not just as a tag team, but as singles wrestlers as well, for sure. What'd you think about that?
Yeah, I enjoyed. Like I said, I'm glad it was nice to see them win. It was a good match. They were really effective as a tag team. Like I say, quite violent, really, weren't they? And did well of isolating Frankie Kazarian for a huge portion of the match. Yeah. But my main issue with this is the match taking first place in the first place. Like, not the match, but obviously we've just had best friends established as number one contenders. But that they also put over the fact that, well, they're getting their fight at Fyter Fest anyway, so it don't matter who the champions are. But Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc aren't even in the rankings. The next one, like SCU, fine, former champions, no problem even being this match. But if you look at the rankings, the next people should have been the two who were outside or just on about a minute ago, like Dustin and QT Marshall have a 4-0 record. They're third in the rankings or fourth without a loss. And so they're already established. So, like, if you're going to throw this match together, use the rank that if you're going to have rankings, use them. So like Kip and Jimmy Havoc shouldn't have been anywhere near this match based on rankings. So that was the issue at the beginning of the match. That, well, like I said, I did enjoy the match, but that was my main issue, that if if you're going to use your rankings, it should have been Dustin and QT that got this match.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I'd rather have saw the match we had, and I'm happy for either of these to win. I don't necessarily want to see Dustin and QT, but you've got rankings, so you're pushing, so you've got to use them,
Yeah. You made that bed, now lay in it, right? Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they got to do here, right? That's exactly what AEW is doing. If they want to have rankings, like we just released that on our Facebook page. Check that out, Triple D on Facebook. We just released the AEW official singles, women's, and tag team rankings. So if you want to check them out, they're there. Apparently, and this is one of the biggest, one of the criticisms I hear about AEW is the ranking system. If you're going to have it, use it and know what you're doing. That's why wrestling organizations don't have ranking systems, except for the Power 25, but that's kind of different. And then the second one is the referees and the rules, right? Like follow the rules. If you're going to have these rules in place, make sure you're following them. And by painting yourself into a corner, you're painting yourself into a corner. You're not giving yourself a whole lot of options. So whatever you're doing, you got to do it right. Okay, so beyond that here, we had the Battle Royal for the TNT title shot. I just love MJF and Wardlow Reigns. Wardlow Reigns every single week. I cannot get enough of this guy. He's so big. He's so intimidating. Just wow, I love MJF. Again, I don't know if I just like bad boys, man. This just could be me. Again, going through the Battle Royal though, the one thing I want to say, well, there's two things that it's kind of happened back to back. Dr. Luther taking that massive choke slam. Dr. Luther is somebody that's obviously I didn't know a lot about. I'm hearing a lot of stories of him from the Canadian circuit here. From the old days, you hear about his time in Japan and death matches and stuff as the original Death Dealer. So he took this massive choke slam from Luchasaurus. They set up for this spot. Luchasaurus has him, and you're like, oh, yeah, whatever, right? But then they start going towards the ropes, and you're like, there's no effing way. And then he does, man. He picks him up over, like, Luther pulls himself over this top rope. Lucha does this great job of putting him right down on the apron. Again, this speaks to, we talked about this before the show. I think AEW is doing way too many apron spots. You guys are taking years off of your career. It's visually amazing, but it's gotta hurt, man. It's gotta hurt. So Luther, this guy is on the back end of his career too, but he's still showing these new fans what he's about. Takes this massive chokeslam, bang on the apron, he's eliminated, and then almost eliminated, like Sonny Kiss eliminated in this massive way. It was right away. Billy Gunn is still massive. This is my takeaways from the match here. These are my notes. Billy Gunn is still huge. Like he's standing up next to Luchasaurus. Between him and
Luchasaurus. You forget how big he is, don't you? And it's like, whoa, he's a huge guy.
No, you totally do. Tim, Wardlow is a local in his area. That's awesome, man. That is awesome. Tim is one of the promoters I met on the cruise there. He's a good guy. Yeah, man. But this Battle Royal, what'd you think about it, man? What'd you think about it?
Yeah, I really enjoyed this. But I liked how, before the actual match started, I liked the little vignette with MJF. Because they were like, oh, we'll get that last to me and Wardlow. Then Wardlow knows what to do. And Wardlow said, but, and he's like, got in his face, but nothing, you'll do as you're told. And then it were like, oh, I'm joking, brother, I'm joking. To try move on from it. It was weird getting out of it, but it would just, but then obviously as soon as they got in the ring, the hugging and things, so that were fine. But my booking down the line, I do a little fantasy booking, I get ahead of myself. Because I always thought, like, when MJF loses, I think it should be a Wardlow in a face turn. Like it needs to be far, far away. But I think that'd make a super baby face out of a big guy. Then that would happen. But yeah, again, that's just my fantasy booking. But the match overall were great. For what it was, for what its job was, it was fantastic. Who else did we have? Because we had you've said that to Sonny Kiss. We had Billy Gunn eliminating Colt Cabana then. And then Colt Cabana got given, because we'd seen him at the beginning of the show, the Dark Order. The guy who does the video intros for him and such. He then gives Colt Cabana gives him a leaflet, a flyer, effectively, for the Dark Order, as if like to say, have a look at that. So I thought that was good. Keeps the Dark Order relevant, even though that was like no Brody Lee, but keeps them sort of relevant. Yeah. And then next we had Avalon and Cutler in the ad break. They eliminated each other. It was a bit lame. They were just stood on side, like, pulling back and forth. They want I was expecting someone else to boot them out because they were stood there that long. Yeah. But then they didn't. They just fell off, and it's like, okay, cool. And then when it Christopher Daniels tried to throw out Marco Stunt, who reversed that to eliminate him. Wardlow picks Marco Stunt up and throws him into CD then. So that was a good recovery. There was a good recovery there because of that in that spot where Wardlow picked him up. Stunt kind of, because you could tell it was going to be a gorilla press, right?
but he kind of slipped off his arm. You could tell it was a slip, but Marco kept his arm around his neck, so it looked like he was going to try to get him to a sleeper. And then Wardlow just takes him from that sleeper and redoes the gorilla press and throws him out. So again, I think that was just a good catch on those guys' part.
Yeah, and that's when we had the big face-off between Luchasaurus and Billy Gunn, didn't we? And then during that, they were both MJF and Wardlow managed to eliminate them two, which left you with just what we originally thought were 3, MJF, Wardlow versus Jungle Boy. But then Orange Cassidy. Oh, we forgot to talk about that, actually. Orange Cassidy on his way out got attacked by Santana and Ortiz, didn't he? Because he'd annoyed Jericho earlier on in the night. So that took him out, and you'd almost forgot about him. And then he came back up at this time. So then, OC and Jungle Boy were able to get Wardlow and MJF out and had a little nice exchange between them. And then I think it would a Hurricane Rana over the top.
Yeah, he
gave this Rana over the top, and Jungle Boy gets the win.
Yep. So Jungle Boy, that's going to be good. Jungle Boy versus Cody next week. That's going to be something great, man. Yeah, that's going to be something really good.
Great. So overall, good fun match, and I'm happy with the winner as well. I'm happy with Cody versus Jungle Boy as a nice first TNT match.
Yeah, I think so. And then to finish off this episode here, the Inner Circle pep rally. This just speaks to how great the booking is. I love anything. Like I said, Jericho touches his gold. I love his spots in the Stadium Stampede, but the fact that they booked this pep rally before the fucking show, before the match, just to say, we're going to win it, we're going to celebrate. They've got a truckload of shirts. So they come out, the Inner Circle pep rally, Vicky Guerrero with awesome intro. I love Jim Ross. Okay, well, I'll see you guys later. Like, he's out, right? Just beautiful. The shrill voice there with the introductions. It just showed the guys there. They were all out at this table. They all brought something with them to sort of rebuild their self-esteem. There's some good comedy spots there, reminding themselves, why they are great. And then, of course, Mike Tyson coming out. Oh, my gosh, man. I love it. Although I'm hoping history doesn't repeat itself fully here, right? Because we're seeing Mike Tyson comes out. Jericho wants a piece of him. 10 years ago, this thing started. Tyson pushes Jericho. Jericho pushes him back, and the two are separated, and they start doing this whole keep us apart thing, right? Jericho, great yelling at the end of it. I'm just hoping this doesn't end up now with Tyson packing up the Elite, wearing the Elite t-shirt, coming out, doing a big swerve, ripping the Elite shirt off, and having the Inner Circle one under it like he did with the DX thing. And I'm hoping we don't go there. I think this will be separate from the Elite. This seemed like a Jericho Tyson thing, didn't it? Really? Okay. I hope so. I just see them doing another swerve. I know that Tyson gets so giddy about wrestling. You could see how into it he was the night. Like at Double or Nothing, he was so into it. Just the guy just loves watching violence. I think we talked about that in the show too. So I think I'm looking forward to it. We'll see what they come up with it, because honestly, any exposure right now for Tyson is great for his comeback. And I think they're using that because any exposure for Tyson is an eye on AEW. But I hope they use it in a good way, because they have a lot of attention coming this way. So we'll see. Like I say, it should create good mainstream attention, which is needed and very welcome. But going back to the actual pep rally itself, that the poem from Jay Kago, where it started out sort of innocent and sweet, and then he just turns it into his psycho. I know where they live, I've seen where they sleep, and he's like, whoa, Jericho's like, calm down. You're getting out of control. That were fun. The pep rally, like you say, giving gifts to each other, that were nice. Sammy with his participation trophies, best dad jokes, we're out to get a trophy, which were a nice little play on the fact that the TNT title's not finished. Yeah. Because they were like, it's time to get trophies made at this time. So that were subtle, but I liked it. And like I say, when Tyson come out, he had some legit hard men with him. Oh, man, the UFC, that was a wet dream. Loads of former champions, it were like, whoa, these are no joke. So I thought, if these all get physical, what's going to happen? So it had to be a pull-apart brawl. Even Cody's out there. Everyone's out there pulling him apart. So, it took, like you say, good mainstream attention, nice physical end to the show after some nice comedy. That's the beauty of Inner Circle. They can be funny in an instant and then serious and next. And so, a nice segment to end it. It got messy. I really enjoyed the show. I thought it was a fantastic show. Yeah, I think it got a little bit messy at the end for me, and that was just because you had so many guys. You had Inner Circle 5 guys. You had Tyson and the UFC heavyweights there. You had them. You know what I mean? So you had these guys that were already in there, and it's not like anybody was wearing uniforms or they're very, they're not wearing wrestling tights, right? They're all kind of street clothes. So as soon as it started getting messy, I started noticing that guys would be like supposed to be on opposite sides, but they'd be like, oh, hey, just push away, like get the fuck over there, like get away from me right now. So I thought that was kind of interesting how it did get a little bit sloppy at the end, but they managed to keep it good. And those, Colt Cabana. I love that Colt was right in Jericho's face. And this again shows to, everybody's trying to hold you back, right? You got a face trying to hold the biggest heel in the company back. And Jericho just pushes it like, get out of here. That's hilarious, man. I loved it.
Yeah, like you said, they should have just ended the show as soon as the brawl started. Before you got to see the detail, like you say, and noticing who was pulling apart who and stuff. As soon as it kicked off, they should have sort of just ended it then, as if like it kicked off. Tyson versus Jericho. We don't know what's happened. Tune in next week,
Yeah. Yeah.
But overall, really enjoyed it. Overall, I thought it was a good show. A good
absolutely.
I mean, already building to the next pay-per-view, which is great.
Yeah. Yeah. When is Fighter Fest?
I don't know. Well, actually, do you think Tyson and Jericho are going to have some sort of?
I don't think so. I think I
hope no. I hope they don't. I hope it's sort of just this. It just is what it is. Yeah, I hope they don't actually get physical, because Mike looks great in that, but I don't want to see him have a match.
You know what? He can knock out Jericho. I'm sure there's going to be a spot where he punches out Chris and Chris gets his comeuppance or something like this.
Yeah, put something like that as opposed to a match. Yeah,
I don't, unless they do a boxing match, unless Chris gets so fucking confident that he says he could take on Tyson, a retired Tyson, in a boxing fight. Then that's the only way I see this going down, because I don't see Tyson taking a takedown, taking a bump, doing a move. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like that's the line for him, I think, right?
I think WWE taught us to keep boxing away from wrestling.
Right?
Have boxers, sure, but don't be boxing.
I hope we've learned that lesson, and hopefully Cody and the Elite will know that too. All right. Well, Dean, thank you so much, man. Again, it's such a pleasure to talk with you and review the show. It's a highlight of my week, honestly, because I'm like, it's Wednesday, Dynamite's tonight. That means I'm talking to Dean tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I love it. I'm enjoying it. Like I say, even if we get 5 listeners, I don't care. I'm really enjoying talking with you.
No, it's been It's been flexing up and down here. We've gone between 6. We have 3 right now. It's been great, man. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you guys for subscribing to us on YouTube, on Facebook, for being a part of this, for sharing part of your morning with us, and for just for listening to this guy's buzzing phone all day. He's so busy.
Thomas Rawson. Sorry,
nice.
And again.
That's awesome. That's awesome. There we go. Now it's just blowing up. It's just blowing up. That's wild.
Can you hear it? Yeah, well.
Oh, yeah. We hear the vibrations like zzz, zzz. It just sounds really loud. But that's awesome, man. Hey, so you take care of yourself this weekend here. We'll chat very soon. And for everybody else out there, I can do this with the buzzes. I swear to God I can. For everybody else out there listening, thank you so much for subscribing to our program, for watching us. Check us out here. Triple D, we're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're everywhere. And love you guys. Oh, Tim says bye. See you later, Tim. You guys enjoy the weekend.
Much love for Tim. Right. Good talking to you, Des. Stay well. Peace.
Yes, you too.